Good evening.
Thank you all for coming out tonight and taking part in receiving information shared by the Comptroller's Office for the 2018 year end. Tonight I will be providing you information regarding the financial condition of the city, amongst other things. I have with me tonight one of the administrators, the payroll administrator, Elton Williams. He will be discussing Cronus with you this evening, something that was implemented in the city of Shelburne. Oh, before we start, George, can you do the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just to give you guys a brief overview of the initiatives the city has embarked on. 2015, we received consultation from the State Comptroller's Office, which recommended that we improve the efficiencies within the time and attendance programs to cut back on the waste and efficiency, and also to account in a more transparent manner the time and attendance nature of the employees. Employee costs are very high within budgetary systems, so it's something that receives constant oversight from the state government. The Cronus system was selected the Cronus system was selected from a wide group of companies that offered the country-wide reach in terms of experience. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's better? Okay. So as I was saying, the Cronus system was selected because of their experience within the industry, private as well as public government, and they have years of experience dealing with county-wide, statewide, as well as Fortune 500 companies. The experience allowed us to be able to capitalize on infrastructure that makes the system very seamless from the perspective of capturing data and reporting. Is that better?
Yes.
As I was saying, their systems have been able to allow the city to capitalize on existing infrastructure. We've implemented Cronus utilizing a combination of software and hardware, which allows employees to be able to punch their time and no longer have to indicate they're coming and going by way of a timesheet, a physical paper timesheet. As time has evolved, paper has been increasingly efficient. So to enjoy the economies of scale and cut overhead costs, we embarked on having the system electronically monitored so that it can track those activities of the employees in a timely enough manner. What that means is that the employees have been empowered to be in control of their own time and to be able to query things that they may have questions about, or time inconsistencies that may appear on their records. Over time, we have been able to enroll approximately 400 plus employees out of a complement of approximately 950 FTEs. We're continuing to move in the direction to have the system implemented citywide. We have a physical And we're continuing to move to enroll the employees that have not yet enrolled into the system. The target, we anticipate by mid-2019, we should have almost 100% employee enrollment. And by the end of 2019, hopefully we'll be able to migrate fully into that system after we've concluded parallel testing. So with that initiative, we're confident that the city is moving forward and utilizing its resources in the most efficient manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Mount Vernon is one of the highest taxes in the state, has one of the taxes in the state, and many residents are facing foreclosure. Because this year, I found out that a lot of the taxpayers could not pay the debts that they owed as far as taxes because they are high and there was no partial payments in place for residents to be able to make it easier to keep their homes. So in January, I fought for a 3-year combination of partial payments so residents who were in arrears could have more stability to pay down back taxes while boosting our cash flow. These partial payments could be made for the years 2015, 2016, and 2017 as well. If you know someone who is in need of this type of assistance, please let them contact the financial controller's office and we'll be able to assist them as soon as possible so that we can mitigate any risk for them reaching the foreclosure status. When I came into office, I saw that taxpayers were being also heavily penalized with the high interest rate. Currently, our yearly interest rate is 12%. I asked the city council members I provided them documentation as well to allow them to legislate to lower the interest rate, the high rate of 12%, and bring it down to 6%. The reduction would help them it would help them with the burden that they currently experience with that high interest rate because the interest along with the payment is too high for them to currently pay. To date, the council members have yet to enact this legislation to help the taxpayers. We have an urban renewal agency, which is an independent agency within the city of Mount Vernon. It was created as a separate agency under the mayor's purview. The agency administers several federally funded programs, including the Community Development Block Grant, the Home Investment Partnership Program, and the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS. Collectively, the Community Development Fund. In the past, because of misappropriations with the Mount Vernon Section 8 grants not being properly administered, this grant is now being dispersed elsewhere, such as White Plains. In order for Urban Renewal Agency to continue receiving grant funding for the residents who live here, the city of Mount Vernon allowed the Urban Renewal Agency to share the city's DUNS number only, so that financial audits will be filed in a timely manner together. The city is under financial review by Moody's, which is our credit rating agency. This type of recklessness can negatively affect our rating if audits are not filed in time. Because Mayor Thomas didn't complete the URA agency's audit for the years 2016 and 2017, the receivers of these grants are at risk of losing needed funding that helps them. Since taking office in January, I have proactively worked with Moody's to keep our rating in good standing by providing Moody's the city's future financial plans, and have repeatedly asked the mayor and his staff to perform the URA audits. How the agency he oversees spent federal funds, and to provide the audits disclosing this information, so that the city and the Urban Renewal Agency, who have to file their audits together, are in compliance. It is now December 20th, 2018, and the mayor has yet to file these audits. The mayor's failure to file the 2016 and the 2017 URA audits have put the city at risk of losing our credit rating, which will severely hurt us and puts the city in jeopardy of not being able to go out for future bonds. bonds that could offset the city expenses for needed equipment, for DPW and the police department, and other materials that will keep city services functioning. Monies that taxpayers don't have to incur all at once, as these bonds come with low interest rates. I received an email from Moody's today that stated if the URA audits oversaw by the mayor for 2016 and 2017 are not filed by January 1st, 2019, the city's credit rating will negatively be affected, and the city will possibly lose its state funding as well. There were several lawsuits filed by the mayor against the Comptroller's office, as almost everyone in Mount Vernon knows. One is matter of the mayor versus Maureen Walker. This is still currently in court today because Mayor Thomas wants to access the city's bank accounts. Mayor Thomas versus Reynolds is still in court today because the mayor falsely stated, "I do not pay the city's bills." All city bills that come into the Comptroller's office with the vendor signature, commissioner's signature, and an account code from where the budget can have available funding and can get processed, a check will be cut for that vendor. We need all those necessary documents in order to make sure we have accurate funding to pay the vendor. And that has not happened most of the year. In 2018, the adopted budget consisted of $111 million. This year, Mayor Thomas and his administration recklessly spent approximately $75 million of the taxpayer dollars within that budget. $75 million paid in city bills. Does that sound like I'm not paying the bills for the city? I just refuse to pay the mayor's personal lawyer bills. I want to touch on a little bit about what my payroll administrator talked about. Cronus is the city's timekeeping system recommended by Governor Cuomo. In 2017, the city of Mount Vernon adopted an ordinance for Mount Vernon to implement the Cronus timekeeping system, which tracks and maintains all time and attendance for all employees and the payroll system for people who are employed for the city of Mount Vernon. This was designed to prevent fraud and to maintain accuracy of payroll records. Because department heads were furnishing the payroll department with handwritten time cards, the former controller and myself, when I came in January, directed all city employees to comply by using the system. This directive was circumvented because Corporation Counsel, who works at the pleasure of the mayor, issued a written directive to all departments countering my direction and also the legislation that was adopted by the City Council. Corporation Counsel thinks that municipal unions complying doesn't apply. CONUS has nothing to do with conditions of employment. The failure to fully adopt CONUS timekeeping has injured the city of Mount Vernon, permitting abuses in payroll, including several instances where payroll checks were issued to employees when they were not working. Munis system. We have a Munis system, which is our financial record-keeping system. It was purchased by the Comptroller's office in about 2004 as the accounting system operated by the Comptroller as Chief Financial Officer and System Administrator. It also includes payroll, purchase orders, and the financial records of the city of Mount Vernon. When I was able to function in Munis, I could review and approve all purchase orders, verify funding in accordance with the charter, but I no longer have the ability to perform this action since being reached out, which causes havoc today. Several months ago, Mayor Thomas and his administration, his management service department staff, removed me from being the administrator in Munis. And the mayor now has taken over and controls the financial system, which is a violation of the city charter and a violation of the separation of powers in government. Management services only supposed to act as IT, not the controller. I want to touch on contracts. The mayor has executed contracts without the Board of Estimate approval required by the city charter. This has led to a number of lawsuits created by Mayor Thomas, by vendors, because Mayor Thomas on his own decided the contract with vendors without checking with the Comptroller's office to see if funding was available to pay these various vendors. The Comptroller's duties are to review and allow all claims on behalf of the city. Mayor Thomas decided to circumvent this process, to do what he wanted, which is an assault on the city finances, because we do not know how many contracts Mayor Thomas has entered into on his own. The 2018 budget was passed on December 17 with a 0% increase. This 0% increase was never realistic, as the $5 million surplus used to offset the expenses hurt the city financially. The city could not raise taxes because expenditures went through the roof. Mayor Thomas spent over $75 million in the first 10 months of 2018. A few months ago, Mayor Thomas put his 2019 budget online that states on the list, on the first page, an increase of 2%. But this budget is actually an increase well over 20% or more on the backs of the taxpayers. Mount Vernon cannot afford this type of increase. I have spoken to city council members who are not knowledgeable of the budget process. They think because the mayor's budget consists of raises of his appointees in excess of $30,000 each and unrealistic revenues that they could do better. It hasn't been done. The mayor has not produced another budget to date. The reality is that there are two executives that run the city of Mount Vernon. There is a mayor's budget or the controller's budget to be voted on. The city council members can only discuss expenditures, how they'd like to see them changed. Because the mayor's budget will hurt the taxpayers of Mount Vernon, and the city will not be able to function until May of 2019 with that increase of over 20% in its current form. The city will run out of money in May 2019, which will be disastrous. Mayor Thomas has not proposed a budget at the Board of Estimate and Contract that votes to accept or deny it. Yes, the departments are still excessively spending taxpayer dollars, knowing funds are not allotted for in this 2018 budget, and its present 0%. Because of this, I have prepared a budget that's fiscally responsible for the taxpayers of the city of Mount Vernon, such as I did in 2012 when I came in office and worked with Mayor Davis on that budget that was past due. It was actually voted on in January. But the good news is that in spite of the obstacles and the fictitious Facebook grants, the Comptroller's office is doing well and the city is financially stable. The city's sales tax is 16% up from last year. In 2018, the city received over $19 million compared to last year's $16 million. As of December 2018, transfer taxes are $2.47 million, significantly over the budget. As Comptroller, I will continue to do my part in providing transparency to the residents and taxpayers, have an open door policy to anyone who seeks my assistance. And, you know, we really have to be wondering why all of this is happening this year. Why is the mayor constantly, and this happened before I even came into office, Maureen Walker was viciously attacked day after day. The same thing is happening to date. This is something that other municipalities don't go through. They don't have to deal with elected officials each other on a daily basis. On Facebook, talking about each other, lying on each other, making up stories. Enough is enough. The taxpayers in Mount Vernon deserve better. I am here to make sure that you can count on me to be accountable for taxpayer dollars. I am not going to pay Mayor Thomas's personal bills. That is not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure that services are actually paid for, and I have. I just haven't received all of Mayor Thomas's bills. I'm actually afraid to find out how much he spent since taking over the Muni system that I can't currently go in and approve. I approve those POs, and then I hit it, and it goes to, it takes money out of the general fund. I can no longer do that. So his purchases and the vendor purchases are actually incurring, money. Like, I can't see it. I can't go into the meeting system. I haven't been in there for over 7 months. This is not right. And I have to tell the taxpayers and the people of Mount Vernon that I had to find creative ways. I had to use all of my experience, in accounting to find ways to make sure that I was safeguarding and making sure that the bills that were paid were accounted for. My staff has been working overtime. We're finding new and innovative ways every day to make sure that we're doing our part. And so I'm proud of that. I'm very happy that, the staff is working really hard, such as Elton, Susie, and many of the staff members that we have there. I just want to make sure that we are not at risk of being jeopardized. Our finances are really all we have to make sure that we can get the services and the things that we need for the taxpayers. I am optimistic that we will move forward, that we will do our part, and everything will work out for Mount Vernon. I hope the council members, I see one council member here tonight, Ms. Janice DeWorte. I am hoping that the city council does not fall for the mayor's 20% increase. We will not last financially until May. The state will come in and take over Mount Vernon. We are at risk currently. All of the things that I stated tonight, that the breaching of the Muni system, the circumventing of the CONUS system, the unilaterally, the mayor is making up contracts with vendors without the Board of Estimate and Contract approval. Where is the money coming from? No one knows. So when they sue, we have to pay. If there's no money allotted in the 2018 budget, how are we spending? We can't. All of this type of behavior should not be taking place. So I have recently filed a lawsuit against Mayor Thomas and his administration to stop the abuse of spending without my department and myself being able to account for what they're doing. To make sure that we're on the CONUS system so we can effectively track people coming in and out of the building being paid. We don't want to pay people that are not working. Mount Vernon can't afford that. Also, we're really not working with a 0% increase as stated last year for the 2018 budget. It is much higher. But we have really been working hard this year to make sure that we have savings, that we're able to get the things that we need. I need Mayor Thomas as of January 2nd, because that's all the time that we have, is up to January 2nd, per an email from Moody's that I received today, to have the Urban Renewal Agency, his independent agency he oversees, audits filed, the 2016 and the 2017. He has yet to file them, which makes HUD recipients at risk. When these people lose their rental assistance, when people with AIDS don't receive the proper funding that they need, we're at a loss. We can't afford that. We can't afford for that to happen. It's a sensitive matter, but it's an urgency for us all to act and make sure that we hold our elected officials accountable, especially our city council. Because when people can't get their permits, they call on the When the mayor is not providing the services, the council is supposed to hold them accountable. If I'm not doing what I need to do, the council is supposed to hold me accountable. We are 3 branches of government. Yes, we are separate entities, but we all should be working together. I am ashamed and appalled of all of the infighting and the suing that has gone on this year, which didn't make any sense. The Mayor Thomas, he created all of these lawsuits. The Memorial Field debacle, the suing me for not paying the bills, when in fact I did pay the bills. Just the ones that he didn't bring down haven't been paid. And I'm not going to pay his lawyer bills, his personal lawyer bills. So I just want to say, Mount Vernon, we are doing well financially. We are keeping our feet to the ground to make sure that we safeguard the taxpayer dollars. And we're doing our part in assisting taxpayers that need our help in payments, making payments. We have many people in foreclosure. We're trying to help them out of foreclosure. I'm hoping that the City Council will enact the legislation to lower the interest rate on late payments, as well as help them with back interest in city taxes, to help them move forward so that they can make agreements to get back on track and keep their homes. So I just want to say once again, thank you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the help of the residents that keep me inspired every day and that keeps my office going. I thank you for being part of Mount Vernon, and I just want to say that if it wasn't for you guys coming out, writing articles, keeping up with the day-to-day what's going on, and pounding the pavement as well for us elected officials, I don't know what we were doing. It's you guys that keep us, in place, keep our minds straight, keep us doing the right thing. But right now is an urgent time for us to do even more. Because as I stated in all my remarks tonight, your help is urgently needed. Mayor Thomas has to do the right thing. He has to give the controls of Munis back to me so I can effectively keep a watch on taxpayer dollars and the spendings that he has created. As I stated before, spending over $75 million in city bills. On what? When he talks about the trucks not being repaired, they're already repaired. He has the parts. So how are you blaming the controller's office about something that you already have? A shed that needs materials. You have the materials. Put the shed together. We have about 17 maintenance workers. Excuse me, 7 maintenance workers. Yet, we actually have vendors who fix our vehicles. So why do we have 7 maintenance workers to fix our vehicles? And we outsource as well. It's like double dipping. There's many instances like this, and I don't understand why this is happening. You can't have the people in place like the sewer system. The city council actually voted to have a lot of sewer workers because the sewer system is falling apart. The mayor has not yet come up with a plan, so we're not in compliance with that as well. But with these city workers that were hired with good salaries, we're still outsourcing people to fix our sewers and to do the work, double dipping. What is happening? Overspending, reckless spending, costing the taxpayers more. That's not right. So as we constantly bicker and argue about these things, the mayor continues to do. So we need to do better. That's all I can say is the 3 branches need to be better. The city council has to hold the mayor accountable for his actions. I have put out a lawsuit recently to get controls of Munis, make sure that Cronus, we can get our employees on that timekeeping system. We want to know who we're paying, not pay people that don't work here. To make sure that the urban renewal audit is completed, so lives can be protected and saved. You can't recklessly decide from 2016, I'm not going to perform an audit. We're in December 2018. Now it's time for the 18 audit. failed to do the urban renewal. They are put in at the same time. That's the completion, since the city allowed them years ago to use our DUNS number. So we have to file at the same time. So without the mayor complying, the city is at risk. We could lose our state funding. Not fair. Not in compliance, unethical behavior. So that's why I have those lawsuits in place. I am optimistic and in hopes that we are able to prevail. We need to take back our city. We need to take back our city today, not tomorrow. It's an urgency, and my department and I are working very hard to make sure that we can safeguard this city financially. We don't want any more misappropriations. We don't want any more abuse in spending. We can't afford it. As I stated before, the budget was at a 0%. I have a fiscally responsible budget. It's low. It gives us what we need to function. If the city council does not hold the mayor accountable in putting out a budget, I'm in hopes that they vote for mine. It's the best budget for the residents of Mount Vernon. It's a good budget. And it will help us grow throughout the years. We deserve better in Mount Vernon, like every other municipality. They have things. We're still sitting here with nothing. Our streets are still riddled. I paid over $500,000 a year in paving. What happened to our roads? Our sidewalks are still uplifted. People are still complaining about their trees. The mayor says that I didn't pay for a bucket truck. I did. When he finally went down the invoice, months later, over 6 months later it was. But yet I was to blame for them taking the truck. No good. But it doesn't bother me. I know what I'm here to do. I was elected to do a good job for Mount Vernon, and I will. I will make sure that the mayor is held accountable for his actions. You cannot abuse the system. It's unethical behavior. So I just want to say again, thank you for coming out tonight. We're going to do well. I appreciate you, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
I'm only hearing one side of the story, so,
That's fine.
but it's very convincing. How
Oh, sir?
often do those three?
Sir?
Yeah,
What is your name?
my name is Mike,
Hi, Mike.
Mike Sarlo.
You heard one side of the story, which was the mayor's story?
No, yours.
You didn't hear the mayor's story? I'm
No, I just
surprised.
heard yours. It's done very
Facebook, all the
eloquently.
news. Okay.
But I don't know his, so, but I want to know, how you got three
Branches?
branches?
Yes.
How often do those three branches meet?
Not often this year at all.
Well, that sounds dysfunctional.
The clerk just said twice.
For the year?
Yeah, I mean, we meet separately. We meet separately. The Board of Estimate contract meets twice a month. That's myself, the mayor, and the city council president. So we do meet at the Board of Estimate contract twice a month.
It sounds like you're not accomplishing anything at those meetings.
Well, the mayor sends a request to the city council. Those requests come to the Board of Estimate and Contract. Most of them. Not the ones I described in, what I told you tonight that have not come to the Board of Estimate and Contract or done unilaterally by the mayor. But most of the time, we have requests that the mayor sends to the city council for some youth things and people coming into the city for contracts and other things. So we vote on that at the Board of Estimate and Contract, yes.
All right, I mean,
Settlements.
I'm prompted to ask that question because it sounded like a dysfunctional family.
Yeah. Well, the dysfunction is the mayor, sir. I must state that. And I do see a little dysfunction this year in the city council because I have also put in requests. Because we can't bond this year, because our Moody's rating and the mayor not filing the URA audit for 16 and 17, I asked the city council to rescind the bonds that my predecessor put out before I got here. We can't use those bonds, so we have to rescind the legislation that has not been done. So we are working, but we should be working in a better fashion. You are correct. There's a little dysfunction, but we should be working better. So I urge the city council, I urge the mayor to do the right thing and stop acting on his own, doing things that's costing the taxpayers.
Controller, thank you for having us. I have 3 questions. So, take us back. Can I ask first? Okay. Take us back to December of 2018. The mayor diligently worked hard, spilling out information that taxpayers' tax rate were going to go up 200%, and then we haven't heard about it recently. What's the story with that? Is that going to happen?
Well, it probably already has. With the spending that Mayor Thomas has done, as I stated before, he has taken over the munis system that I approved payments and POs for. Has he spent over 200%? Maybe he was telling the tale before now. I don't know.
So that brings me to my next question. You said that this prevented you from the municipal system.
Yes.
Explain what that system is and what that means, because it sounds as if he's taken you or he's prevented you from the bank accounts of spending money and he's now spending it.
The munis system is there to track and to make sure that our accounting functions are working. That's what we do all of our day-to-day accounting functions. So taking over the munis system means that I can't perform, I can't process, I can't push through POs that were created in the system to say, no, this is no good, or no, this doesn't belong here, or no, we can't purchase this because the money's not there. If he has it, he can unilaterally, and his staff, just go ahead and buy.
So the mayor's just going and approving and paying, approving and paying, approving
No,
and
he's
paying.
not paying, but things are being approved, because what's happening is, I cannot push through a PO that they can print and send to the vendor, so the vendor can sign it. See, the signature says, this is an account code, the department head signature, and then I approve it. So if I can't go in the system and say, okay, this PO looks okay, we have the money for it, I'm gonna push it through, it doesn't happen. But they are being done. A PO number is being provided to vendors.
And he's doing it. And he shouldn't be doing it.
No.
And so what's
It's a
the
violation of my
consequence to that?
fiduciary duty.
What's the consequence to that? Like,
The
isn't
consequence, like I said, just like as you said before, he mentioned 200, what he said, 200 million?
200%?
200%? Maybe. I don't know. Anytime you take over my financial system, you lock me out. But are you still buying?
My last question is, can you just take us through the billing process? Because he's saying that you're not paying the bills.
Okay.
You're saying he's not sending you the bills to be paid.
Yes.
So explain to us, what's the process of paying a bill?
Okay.
I'm a commissioner of DPW. I have a truck that's out of service. It costs $10,000 to fix it. What do I do with that bill, and how does that bill get paid?
Okay. So there's a request, requisition put in the system to buy. There's a purchase order generated. That purchase order can't be pushed to the system unless I approve it. So I have to look at this and say, okay, this is what they put in from the invoice they received from the vendor. This is how much it cost. The PO was generated, I look at it, I see if funding's available. I approve it if it's correct and it is good condition. It comes out, the commissioner signs, the vendor signs, the account code that has available funding in it is put on the voucher or the PO. It comes downstairs to the finance department, the controller's office. We look at it, we make sure everything is there, we make sure the funding is there, and then we approve it. But if that process has been reached, I can't do any of it. So this is the reason why I put out a lawsuit, to make sure that I can get the controls back to safeguard our city from abuse and overspending.
Yes, you said that earlier that $500,000 was spent on paving the roads of the city
Yes.
for quote unquote paving the road and submitting a bill or a PL to be paid, and you approve it or don't approve it, who in the city actually goes and see if the work was done?
To see if the work is completed.
Yes.
The mayor has the purview. This is what he has said he wanted to do.
But the mayor is not going, the mayor is
He's
not going around
Okay, well then that's no good.
and checking the roads.
But then our city council members should make sure that the mayor is doing his job. The commission, you have plenty of commissioners, every department. The mayor has a responsibility when spending taxpayer dollars. We have to hold him accountable. There's no, the mayor's not going out there.
Paid for how many contractors?
I'm sorry.
The 500,000, how many contractors were involved? 2 contractors, 3 contractors in paving the roads?
Well, we have various contractors at various times. I mean, every year we have our roads done. We have our commissioner here tonight, Joe Nigro. Well, our former commissioner, excuse me, Joe Nigro here tonight. But the thing is, roads are, we have contracts all the time to have our roads paid. Yet, I don't see the results.
Well, me neither.
I can clarify that very simply. Question, but I don't work no more.
What happens if the state do take over?
If the state takes over, which you really don't want to happen,
It'd be much
it shows that Mount Vernon cannot run the city. It shows that all of us are not in compliance. Myself, the city council, the mayor, and it also says that the residents are not speaking loud enough, telling their elected officials what they want done. That's what it's saying. We are working really hard in my department to make sure that the state doesn't have to come in. We can do our part. We just have to start working together, and we need to make sure that we hold people accountable that aren't doing the right thing.
To me, it sounds like it's just a squabble between the money. You said that the budget is about 110 million a year. He spends about 75. You're saying that your budget would be better than his, but you would be holding back funds. But as of now, it doesn't seem as though, you know what I mean?
No,
the
sir.
saving
You're
of
talking
funds-
about a budget that was already passed. I'm talking about the past, what that we're dealing with today.
No, but I'm
There was
dealing with your budget.
Let me
Yours-
finish. There was $111 million in the 2018 budget. $75 million was spent in October. In October. Results we cannot see, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is my budget and the mayor's budget currently, the mayor is well over 20%. There's an over 20% increase from his budget he put online that I looked at. It consists of every appointee receiving over $30,000 raise. I'm not fiscally responsible. And also revenues that are ridiculous. Not fiscally responsible. The mayor is not a financial person. What he needed to do before he put his budget online was to come to the comptroller's office and find out what our expenses and our revenues were, what our projections are, and work together. This is what we're talking about. 3 branches of government should be working together, not separate. So when I say the mayor's budget is well over 20%, my budget lies within 2%. Because I know what I'm doing.
I'm not saying
We
that.
have to work together as a team. If that does not happen, it's not going to work, sir.
No, what I'm saying, hold on, cut off, man.
Javon?
So you stated that $75 million was spent as of October. That's 10 months, right? So we're talking about $7.5 million per month. That's a projection of, say, 12 months. We're talking about $90 million for the year. So we're $21 million on the budget. Isn't that a great thing? Are we going to see some savings in our tax next year?
Listen, did you hear what I just said?
Right.
$75 million spent on nothing,
As of
Mr. Boxell, on nothing. What I'm saying to you is that that is not fiscally responsible. When you have $111 million, my dollars, don't you spend $75 million on nothing. Something from something is something, but nothing from nothing is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, Mr. Pessin,
Isn't that a projection of
Mr.
$90 million by the end of the year? That's
Thank
what I'm
you,
asking.
Comptroller Reynolds. Jamie
it's
Pessin.
wasted taxpayer dollars.
I just want to be a little bit more positive than we're getting. First thing I want to say is that I worked at a job where I dealt with Kronos. Kronos is a solution. I, for 7 years, was working at a high turnover job, and I saw 150 people get fired over not using Kronos because they were doing the wrong thing. My question is related to the web page. The web page, Maureen Walker constantly updated with something, Comptroller's Corner. I went online, I think the message from the Comptroller, the last update was July.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any control of updating the web page? Can you add to the quality of your messages? Because we don't want to hear from you once a year, we want to hear from you often.
Mr. President, I can answer that for you. I have been endured with attacks, lawsuits, trying to make sure I could track the money that Mayor Thomas misappropriated. I have a lot to do for the taxpayers, not to get on the webpage talking about nonsense like Mayor Thomas does on his Facebook page and the city's website.
Your responsibility is to answer to us.
I have been working tirelessly this year for the taxpayers, stopping the abuse of spending that Mayor Thomas has done to Mount Vernon. So I will update it, thank you very much. I will update the website as soon as I can. I do need to update it. But right now, I have a lot of work to do, making sure that that budget is completed. Our budget, we haven't even had a public hearing.
I understand.
No, good.
I think the point I'm
That was supposed
making,
to happen already.
I think that the point that I'm making is that the webpage may be a solution if you update it often. Thank you.
Hi, you stated that you've been locked out of units for 7 months.
Yes.
Is that correct?
7 months.
For 7 months. So the first thing I want to ask is, how come you didn't file a lawsuit immediately once you knew that you were locked out, saying that you have the financial duty to the city to control what's being paid? That's my first question.
That's a good question.
My second
I
question.
relied,
Let me
let me answer that.
Okay.
I relied on the Tyler system to help me get back in. It didn't happen because a corporation counsel, Lawrence Bakari, intervened. He circumvented me getting back into the system so that I had the controls again. So right now, Mayor Thomas and his management services IT office currently still control that system. So I finally did have to file a lawsuit, which is out there. Okay?
Second question. It's right now December 20th, and
I didn't hear what you said.
I said right now it's December 20th, and we are 11 days from the new year, and we still have not seen a budget from your office. Since
From my office?
From your office.
Oh, no, Mayor Thomas, no, let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. Mayor Thomas picks out his budget before I do. I have to give Mayor Thomas the opportunity. We have to follow a process. There's a process. So I have to follow the process. And I'm doing my part to follow that. But I am not going to do like Mayor Thomas and not follow the process. I'm going to follow the process. The mayor has to bring his budget, not online, floating in the air. He has to bring his budget to the Board of Estimate and Contract to be voted on, approved or not, so that we can have a public hearing, so the people of Mount Vernon and taxpayers can voice their opinion on what they feel about it, about that budget. And until that happens, I have to wait. If he goes over the fiscal cliff, I have to be responsible enough, is why I prepared a budget. The comptroller doesn't do the budget, the mayor does. But I had to prepare a budget to make sure I could safeguard the residents.
And we see it.
So that's why I did that.
So
That's the process.
Understandable.
So I have to ask, who's the next person?
You gave him 3 questions. I'm just saying. So I would like to at least have.
I got 20.
Yeah, at least have my other 2. I didn't finish my statement. On the second question is that the mayor put out a budget.
He did?
He showed the budget. Have people in this room seen the mayor's budget? We've seen the mayor's budget.
The mayor's
It may not
budget,
be
the mayor's
the official
budget,
process.
the
Let me
mayor's
finish.
budget has to be
Control,
official.
let me
The mayor's
finish
budget
speaking.
has to be official. Official budget, not a pretense, not on Facebook,
Understandable,
not on the
but
website,
to
not
the
online. It
citizens
has
of
to be
Mount Vernon,
presented to the
to
Board of
the
Estimate
citizens of
contract
Mount
to be legal.
To the citizens of Mount Vernon, whether or not the process is legal or not legal, there is a
No.
that is. Let me
No, the
finish.
process
Let me
must
stop
be,
speaking
are
over
you a
you.
board trustee? Let me ask you a question.
Are you the
You
controller
are
of the
a
city
board
of Mount Vernon,
trustee.
duly elected by
Would you allow the board to put your budget online
I'm
and
not going to
not
allow
bring
you
it to
to
the
use
board
my role
members?
as a trustee for
No,
the
I have to
library
be
to sit
honest,
here and
Malcolm.
grandstand. I'm
You're
asking you,
on
as the
the
controller
board.
who
I'm
has
not
given.
gonna argue with you.
But you're not
End
letting
of
me finish my
conversation.
statement.
Have a good night.
I'm not
So,
done. You literally are
okay,
cutting me
anyone
off
else?
and you're not allowing me to
Officer,
speak. You're not
I will
allowing me to
have to
speak.
have you
And in the
removed.
forum of this chamber,
don't
it should be
have
allowed
to
that
be
residents are able to
for
have
me
a
to
one-on-one with the.
This is a forum where we're trying to tell the residents what is currently happening in the city.
I'm asking the controller as a resident of the city.
I understand. Come outside, please. Come
He's
outside.
right.
Remove the one basic.
What's the basis of my rule?
I will speak to you outside. Let's go.
Be able to speak.
Please come outside.
What is the basis of my rule?
Excuse me, sir.
Why am I being
Let's
removed?
go. We're gonna speak outside.
Why am I being removed?
Let's go.
But I'm asking, why am I being removed? I have a right to sit in a public space.
Fine, this is wrong. He should have the right to speak.
I mean, just phone me up, but can you please let me ask my
No, he
question?
should have the right.
If you're going to tone it down,
Actually, hold it down.
He didn't say anything.
I've been very
Sir,
respectful.
I said, if you're not going to tone it down, we cannot have that. The residents don't deserve it.
I've been
I
very-
understand.
What I'm
So
saying
we're
is,
asking.
I don't understand. That's the thing, I haven't been able to answer my question. You should talk over me. So, as I said, my second question is, when will you present us a budget? And,
I told you no.
and, if we only see one budget, how come you, as a controller, cannot take the initiative to let us know what the financial conditions of our city are? If we're facing $75 million.
It's recklessly spending. I'm telling you the financial condition. And I cannot present a budget before the mayor does. There's a process, as I
So you're humstrung by the process of the city
But
due
you're
to our
not
charter.
listening.
I'm listening very
There's a
good. I've heard what you
process.
said.
There's a
You're not going your way,
process.
only you want to do it, give the lady, she answered your question.
I just-
Davis always give a budget first, and when we go up, we gave it after. That's the procedure, let's stay with the procedure.
And this is the reason why Mount Vernon is in the situation that it's in,
Because
because we
Mayor
have
Thomas
the
is spending
controller.
taxpayers' dollars without accountability.
Neither are you. If I'm not helping what I'm, if I'm not.
Officer.
This is separate, right? Now, you know,
I can't.
but please, if you wanna come at me and tell me I'm not, I do a lot for this city.
Please,
Thank you.
please,
We'll see you in 2 years.
please. We won't be seeing you at all. Have a good night. Enjoy. Good night. Do well on the library board.
Not doing well for the city.
What was I going to say? So anyway, yes, sir.
You said that the city has parts. You said that we have 7 maintainers and we're sending things out.
Yes, the mayor is.
No, I am actually the supervisor of garages for the city of Mount Vernon.
Okay. And
We
you
have,
have the cars?
we have no parts.
Well,
Every vendor cut me off.
you know
Freightliner,
why? You want to know why?
Mac,
Do you want to know
Ford.
why?
I know why.
I can explain to you.
That was a vendor that
Because Mayor Thomas refuses, since he took over that system, he refuses to bring down the bills. So tell Mayor Thomas, since you're working there,
I
to
went
make
to
sure,
your office
because
myself.
I paid for the part, sir.
I went to the.
I paid
You
for the
told
parts.
me, you told me out of your mouth.
Excuse
You
me.
told me, you said, I'm breached
what?
out of the system.
That's right.
Tell somebody to do their job. My commissioner went downstairs with the
Who's your
vouchers.
commissioner?
My commissioner is Mark Editor. He
Okay.
went downstairs,
He's fairly new, yes.
he went downstairs with the
Very
vouchers,
good, I understand.
and you refused them.
No, sir. You're mistaken, and that's not your business, what happens in my.
Well, it is my business
You are a
because the
worker.
truck,
No,
the
let
city's
me
not going
finish.
to
You
move,
are a
they're going to
worker.
cripple
You are
the
a
city.
worker who fixes the
You're
vehicles.
going to,
So
I
if-
process the requisitions.
Well, okay, that's
All
fine.
invoices come to
Like
me,
I said to
I
Mr.
process the
Coleman,
requisitions.
the requisitions are in the system. But since the mayor has taken over the munis system, I cannot do my job. So, you're talking about parts not being paid. I can show you a lot of vouchers of parts that were actually purchased.
I got cut off from 12 vendors, so
Well,
if you're
tell
paying the
Mayor Thomas to do
bills,
his
so what's
job.
gonna happen is you're going to cripple this
No,
city.
the mayor
The
is
sanitation
crippling the
trucks are
city
not gonna move.
by taking over the system. You are not listening.
No, you're
I have not
listening
been
because you're
able,
not
no,
paying the
listen,
bills.
listen.
So if
You
my
know what?
commissioner goes
Sir,
downstairs with the vouchers,
sir,
will you
if
pay
you're
it?
not going to listen, I don't care if you're here trying to support Mayor Thomas. This is not about Mayor Thomas. This is about the wrongs that is happening in this city. And I told you before, and I'm going to tell you again, I am going to hold Mayor Thomas accountable
invite you to
Listen,
come out to the garage.
sir, I don't have to come to the garage.
Yes, because
I
you don't know what's
am
that
in the office
from.
making sure that whatever bills come to our office are processed. If I don't get the bills, I can't process it. The munis system is breached. Mayor Thomas told me to print it out so I can pay it. Other than that, sir, there's nothing I can tell you. Yes, no, sir. Anyway, I'd like to say, young lady in the back.
Hi, so I just want to reiterate a few things that I heard earlier to make sure I understood them correctly, and then from that I'll formulate my question. So based on the information that you've received so far, based on the mayor's proposed 2019 budget, which is preliminary.
Well, it's not proposed, it's just online.
Online, okay, whatever variant exists. That he has stated that there's a 2% increase in the budget, but that by your estimate, it actually represents a 20% increase.
Well over.
On the increase on the budget, and that at the current rate, the city will run out of money by May of 2019.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what's captured accurately. Could you just elaborate on what information you were able to derive from the information that's online to formulate your calculations to develop
Well, I
that
can just
20%
tell you
increase?
from looking at the mayor's budget
Yes.
and looking at it, the revenues are wrong. He doesn't know what he's doing with that budget. It's chaos. It's chaotic to look at it. Where he got his numbers from, I don't know. Whoever's helping him financially to put this together doesn't know what they're doing. And so the budget that I looked at, I just turned the pages and said, stop it. There is no controls over his budget. He just decided to just put numbers in from what I'm looking at, from what I looked at in his budget. It is unrealistic.
So that's a pretty huge discrepancy.
It's a huge discrepancy. It's unrealistic, irresponsible. Well over 20%, closer to 30. 30% increases to all of his appointees.
So do you
But,
think?
excuse me, $30,000.
So what's the biggest contributor to the overestimate of the revenues or the inflation of the salaries?
A lot more. A lot more. Everything in the budget is fictitious. It doesn't represent anything. Because he does not work for the comptroller's office, is why he needed the assistance. He needed to come downstairs and work with me. As I stated, I would work with him when I came in office in January. I didn't refuse Mayor Thomas.
Is there still time to do that?
Yes, it is. There's time to work on that budget. It's vital, it's very important. I am willing to sit down at the table and make sure that budget is fiscally responsible. I already have one in place. But Mayor Thomas is continuing to attack my office. He's continuing to put these Facebook rants on. He's continuing to call the media and lie on me day after day. He's taken over my controls, the system, the controller's finances. He's run amok. It's a shame.
So what happens?
It breaches my fiduciary duty with the government. I'm supposed to be able to do my part for the people who elected me to do my job. I had to find other ways to make sure that I could protect them.
So what happens in May if we go bankrupt? What happens? Services get cut?
Well, you know what, this is what I said before. I'm urging even Janice Duarte and the council members.
What's the effect of that happening? What would happen? So the service things will shut down? What?
Well, the state will take over and they can do whatever they want. I have no controls over it. So what I'm saying is, I have urged the city council, I have told them the issue, I told them the problem, you know? And I asked them again, do the right thing. The mayor's budget is not responsible.
Mrs. Reynolds, can you talk about that lawsuit where you're seeking get out of the munis lockout?
Yes.
What is the name of that lawsuit? Who's the plaintiff?
It's myself against the mayor and his administration.
So it's the office of the controller versus the office of the mayor. What
And
court?
his administration.
What court is that lawsuit?
It's in court. Yeah, you can see the view it online. But I had to do it. It was imperative to get the controls back. Because money is spent daily. By just the mayor's departments telling vendors that it's PO number this and give me the merchandise. It doesn't asking the governor to remove me from office. So he's totally conflicted out with me in my department.
So who's representing the controller?
I have a separate attorney that is representing the controller's office, helping the residents of Mount Vernon and myself get this bills back on track. So anyway, we will be okay. We just have to hold our officials accountable as residents. They have, the city, the mayor's office and his administration have run amok. They come down every day, arguing with me and my staff. Attack after attack. Just do it anyway. It doesn't work like that. We have to be accountable. We're the checks and balances.
What about the civil service exams? How are they administered and paid for?
It is for the budget. Everything is administered and paid for through the budget. So that budget there is everything. And if it's not there, you can't spend it. And that's how it is. Okay. But anyway, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. My department is still doing well. I'm urging once again the council to be fiscally responsible and hold the mayor accountable. If he does not present a budget that is fiscally responsible, I have one prepared for the taxpayers of Mount Vernon. It is responsible. Thank you.
Please, right here.